Well, this is a great turnout, and welcome to this great privilege to be here. I have known this artist, photographer, whatever the right word is for you, since she was a freshman at Webster. And so I got to know Gaby through her co-curricular involvement. Some of you may know about her background, but not only is she this amazing photography student, she was president of our student body for 1 year. She was headed up the commuter council for 1 year. She was in our sorority. You might not know this, but as part of the senior gift for her graduating class of 2016, is that right? There is a Gorlock statue on campus, which is on the patio area right between Speardrip and the library on the other end here. $13,000 this person raised to make that statue happen. So now it is a great iconic place to get a photo taken. Alumni come back and go, oh my God, the Gorlock is real, and they get pictures there. So we have that artifact as well, that every time I walk by, I think of you. But there's one story I'll tell about Gaby. She was in a leadership theory class that I taught with our Webster Leads program. And I don't remember exactly when it was towards the end of the semester, but Gaby had brought in, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 photos that you had printed out. And what happened is that the class kind of got more enamored with the photos than they were with me as the instructor, and gathered around. And they were magnificent photos. I don't remember what they were, but they were great. I just was looking at these photos going, what an amazing talent. This is so great. But Gaby goes, well, there's about half of these I don't like. This one seems out of focus. There's a shadow over here. There's something over here that I don't like. It was off. It was some imperfection. And I'm like, listen, I could pick up all 8 of these prints. I could go to Michael's and get $56 of cheap-ass frames. I could put these photos inside frames, hang them around my house. People would come to visit, and they would see these photos, and they would say something like, Buck, I had no idea you were a collector. And I would say, yes, I am. It's the Deimeke collection. That's all. But to me, it was beautiful art. To Gaby, it was not quite done. And I think what is interesting about a night like tonight, to have you come back to campus and be here with us, is to remind ourselves, those of us who work at the university, this is what happens when great talented faculty get together. And it matters the interactions that we have with one another. It matters that we give our very best, and then this is the kind of outcome that we all hope and dream for, that someone like Gaby goes out and not only has this amazing, phenomenal experience over the last several years with what you've got to do, but she is as cool and hip and fun and funny as she was when she was a senior or a junior in college. So it's wonderful to welcome you back. So please welcome Gaby Deimeke.
Thank you guys all so much for coming. As he was saying, I did my undergrad here. I studied photography at Webster. So to come back now and see all my photos in the gallery on the walls is such a cool full circle moment for me. I have to give a huge thank you to Chris, who curated the show. Amazing. He also answered about 1,000 emails from me, including one that I sent on Monday saying, hey, I made a really cool tour recap over the weekend. Can you add that to the screens in the show for Friday? And she was like, oh yeah. Let me get on that. So thank you again. And thank you to all the faculty and staff that I've gotten to reconnect with. You guys had such an impact on me when I was a student. Not just learning photography, but just making me a better human. So thank you so much. It's so good to see everyone. My 2 loves have always been photography and music. My parents gave me a camera when I was like 12 years old, and I pretty much have never put it down. Same with concerts. My parents were driving me to concerts before I even had my driver's license. Even when I was at Webster, when class would end, I would run off to be waiting in line all day so I could be front row at a show at the pageant or the Firebird and see whoever was coming into town that weekend. But I never had the idea to combine the two until after I graduated. I was living in New York, and that's where I found out about press passes and photo passes and how you could get free tickets to concerts if you brought your camera and worked with different publications. So for like a broke 20-year-old in New York, I was like, this is the dream. This is everything I've ever wanted. And then I was like, okay, how can I get paid to do this? So my goal was be a concert photographer, and my steps were email everyone in the music industry and shoot every concert possible. And honestly, it kind of worked. I was shooting a music festival in San Francisco. It's called Outside Lands. and J Balvin was there headlining. I remember my budget for the whole weekend to go was $500, including the flight. I was like crashing at a friend's house, walking a mile and a half to the festival and back every day so I wouldn't have to pay for Ubers. And Balvin was headlining. I took a really cool picture that he liked of his set. He saw it on the internet. And his manager reached out and they're like, hey, he has an upcoming performance. Can we hire you to shoot it? I was like, absolutely. My schedule is totally clear. My schedule is not clear. I was supposed to shoot a wedding. I had to get a replacement for that. And the show that they wanted me to come do was in Puerto Rico. So I just remember calling my parents so excited, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be my big break. Yeah, like these Colombian guys, they're flying me to Puerto Rico, they're private planes, and they were like internally screaming a little, like, is our daughter gonna get kidnapped? Like, maybe. But it was totally fine. I got to meet the whole team. They were amazing, even though I didn't know any Spanish at the time. And it's just been a crazy journey. That was in 2021, and I've gotten to do so many crazy things with Balvin's team. We've done shows on 5 different continents. We did Coachella this year. I've gotten to shoot him at Paris Fashion Week on music video sets. A collab with Ed Sheeran, which the photos are there. You gotta check those out. And last weekend we did a tour in Australia and New Zealand. So it's just been the most crazy adventure. I have to give a huge shout out and thanks to him because without him, I wouldn't have been able to do all of this. I also have to shout out my team because when you're on tour with people, you're spending weeks or months at a time with the same people. You're eating all your meals together, you're sharing late nights after the show, you're living on a tour bus together. So they really do become your family and they become your home away from home. And they're actually in Baku, Azerbaijan right now, about to do a show in about 12 hours. I kind of wish I was there with them, but huge shout out to them, and I hope the show goes great. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about a day on tour. It's pretty crazy. You wake up, maybe you're in a tour bus, maybe you're in a hotel, you head to the venue. That's when I like to kind of scout out the venue, make a shot list of what photos I'm going to do. We have sound check, then the artist's there, then we might do a meet and greet, then we might do press, then it's time for the show. I might shoot 1,000 or 2,000 photos during the show. I have to edit all those photos within an hour or two after the show, and then we get on a plane and we do it again the next day, and we do that for a month. So you don't get a lot of sleep. You have to be really good with no sleep. I think last weekend we did a show in Sydney on Friday. I got 3 hours of sleep. Brisbane the next day, 3 hours of sleep. Auckland the last day, 1 hour of sleep. So yeah, you kind of just have to make it happen. Also, besides the lack of sleep and travel, you kind of just have to roll with the flow and roll with whatever happens. If something goes wrong, you just have to pivot and make it work. On the first show of the Europe tour, I was super excited. I was rushing around because I just really wanted to get great shots and start the tour off on a good foot. And I went through the wrong door. The door that I needed to go to would take me back to backstage, but the door next to it was actually the emergency exit door, which took me out of the venue and locked behind me. So I was actually locked out on the street during the show, panicking a little bit. Then I had to call the tour manager, who had to call venue security to let me back in. So yeah, I was a little embarrassed at the time, but we can laugh about it now, so it's not too bad. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about the show. So it's concerts I've shot, it's music festivals I've worked at, it's artist portraits that I've photographed, and tour life. And most recently, this tour that I did in Europe over the summer. And for me, I love concerts. I'm a big fan of going to shows. I'm Taylor Swift's #1 fan, if you didn't know that. And so when I'm shooting and when I'm having people look at the images, I want you to feel like you were at the concert. I want you to feel the excitement that you're feeling right before your favorite artist goes on stage, or the euphoria of screaming your favorite song with 10,000 or 100,000 other people in a stadium. So I like to include that color, that vibrancy, that euphoria, and that's what I want you to feel when you look at the images. Also for me, the making of it has to be fun. Like I said, we goof off a lot on tour. We usually play Uno after the show, the whole crew. So for me, that piece of them giving me the creative freedom to just do my thing, have fun, include the crew in all the photos that I'm taking, I think it makes my work better. And I think that's why I'm making some of the best images of my career this year, because of that creative freedom and excitement that the whole crew surrounds me with and gives me to just do my thing, make cool images, and send them out into the world. I did want to give a quick note to current students. I feel like whenever I was at Webster, I loved photography, but I had no idea where I was going to go exactly with that. So if you're here and you're studying, or even if you just have art that you love, but you don't know really where it's gonna go, just keep doing that thing, just keep making art. I didn't find concert photography until years after I graduated. So I think as long as you find the thing you're passionate about and keep doing and making, that's gonna put you on that path and that journey to figuring out what it is. And it just might take you all around the world. Housekeeping thing, I just want to say there's some QR codes around. If you scan that, that's like a little digital program that I made for the show. It has like more info on each of the images. I wrote like little captions about like maybe where the photo was taken or how it came about. So it has like little more tidbits of info. It has links to all my social media. I post a lot of behind the scenes stuff on TikTok. So if you have TikTok, check it out there. I post like, you know, here's how sound check goes, or, you know, if you ever want to learn any of those things, if you wanted to learn why you're not allowed to poop on the tour bus, you can find that out on my TikTok. Oh, there's also stickers in the back. I brought a bunch of stickers. Take those, and if you have any questions, feel free to come chat with me and come say hi after that. So thank you again for coming. I hope you like the work.
Thank you all for coming tonight and helping us celebrate Gaby's beautiful work. And we have another exhibit as well, another alum, Noah Ivory, who's here also to answer questions from any students that might have any questions. If we could just give Noah a shout out and a round of applause for his